What's a not safe for work fun fact? Romania has searched for more Scooby-Doo porn than any other country. Not if I can help it. I'm gonna single-handedly make America great again. Tarantulas reproduce by the male basically nutting on his hands and punching the female directly in the vagu. I thought that's how we all did it. Ostriches have been known to put on mating dances for humans they find attractive and seek to copulate with, even so far as refusing other ostrich mates literally right next to them. Essentially, ostriches are reverse furries. Same thing with dolphins, too. In the UK, Groperkunt Lane was a common street name for red light districts a few centuries ago. Most have been renamed things like Grape Lane. There's a wiki page on this. The way that clams reproduce. The male basically shoots semen in the general direction of the female, and the female uses a vacuum tube to suck all the good stuff out of the water around her. I nut in your general direction. An elephant's penis is prehensile just like their trunks. This is because they are too big to thrust, so the penis does the thrusting on its own. Look, ma, no hands. There is a species of penguins, Adelie penguins, that build nests out of pebbles. The males will bring pebbles to the females and essentially propose to them. If the female accepts, they will continue the nest building and be mates. Sometimes, the female is lazy, and doesn't want to work. In this case, the female will attract a male, get his pebble, mate with him, then attract another male, trading sex for nest materials. Essentially, some female penguins prostitute themselves for nesting materials. Barnacles can have penises up to 50 times their body length. The largest penis to size ratio on any animal. Who the f are the scientists out here measuring barnacle dicks? Hey Dave, how's work going? Oh, you know, just out here measuring more barnacle cock. Same old, same old. Doggy style and reverse cowgirl are the same position in space. Sex as in sex that is done responsibly can help your immune system. Well, hell, I'll put up my BDSM auto whip 509 volt vibration anal destroy 9000. When flatworms mate, two males square off and the one that stabs the other with their penis stays a male and the other turns into a female. Makes him his bitch. If a jellyfish is killed, it will release all of its sexual content. Thus, if you killed two jellyfish, you could possibly cause the birth of over 100 to replace them. It's essentially the same as a human dying, and if male ejaculating so hard that every drop of semen is violently expelled from them, if female launching eggs from their vagina, which is disturbing to think of, but you get what I mean. I only know this cause there was a documented case of it. They tried to kill a swarm of jellyfish, I can't recall where, with a metal net dragged through the water. However, after killing about 200 of them, they later were cursed with the 3,000 or so strong offspring of those they killed. Bats engage in oral sex. I comprehend that they're mammals, but the first time I caught a glimpse at bat genitalia, I was really thrown off by how human-like it is. When wolves have sex, they then get stuck together for up to a half hour afterwards. It's very funny to watch when a wolf from a pack and a lone wolf have sex and get caught because they'll try running away while stuck together. A boar can ejaculate up to 500 milliliters of semen, that's almost 17 fluid ounces. Holy f***. Imagine coming a can of Coke and a half. That is probably the most American unit of measurement I have ever used. Male and female ducks are locked in a perpetual sex war against each other. Male ducks are aggressive and will breed forcefully. They are even known to commit necrophilia. Their penises grow according to how many competing males there are in their environment during mating season, and then fall off after the season. Some ducks also have barbs on their penises to scrub away rival dick sperm from females. Female ducks' vaginas are designed in a counter-corkscrew fashion to combat the male duck's explosive corkscrew penis. Females also have up to 8 false cavities to mislead an unwanted penetration. Ducks are degenerates. When you lose your hair with chemo, you lose all your hair, pubes, underarms, eyelashes and nose hairs. Not having lashes means you get crap in your eyes and can't just blink it away. No nose hair is just weird. Every time I wash my face I get water up my nose now. Chemo sucks. The muscle that covers the testis is called the cremaster. The G-spot was nearly called the Whipple tickle after Professor Beverly Whipple, who coined the expression that we know today. In the Whipple, if you get someone to lightly poke your inner thigh, your testicles will ascend due to the cremasteric reflex. There are bugs and other invertebrates, notably the bedbug, that have evolved such that the only way to reproduce is for the dude bug to stab the ladybug in her abdomen with his dick. Also, bedbugs will attempt to copulate with whatever they come in contact with, so those aren't bites you get from bedbugs. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bedbugs nut in you. The females of anglerfish carry multiple testicles attached to them. Let me explain this. So, the big-ass fish shown in the photo is a female. Males of anglerfish are much smaller, about 100 times or so. The moment they are born, the sole purpose of life is to find a female. They don't eat, they don't socialize, they just wander around until they find a female. When they do, they bite into the sides of the female and attach them to the female for good. From that point on, they get nutrition from the female, and in turn they provide her with sperm which she uses to reproduce. A single female can have multiple such males attached to her at any given time. Over time, the attached males start to deteriorate. They lose features that even identify them as fish, and eventually end up essentially as testicles attached to the females. Bonobo apes and hedgehogs are the only animals together with humans that look at each other when doing the naughty. Use hydrogen peroxide to clean up bloodstains. Or, just wear red. Dumbass. Male echidnas have 4 heads on their penis. Also, female echidna have 2 vaginas. For her enjoyment. Men who climb Mount Everest tend to get boners during the climb due to how the extreme elevation impacts blood pressure and circulation. Never use an angle grinder to cut aluminum, because its low melting point will gum up the blade and potentially crack and fly out so fast eye protection won't matter. Makes for a very not safe for work environment. Male chickens sometimes rape to assert dominance instead of fighting. They also send out unsolicited cloaca pictures to the ladies. The thin little seam on a man's nuts is there because it's literally fused together. In women, that seam becomes the opening to the vagina. In fact, penises and vaginas are actually sort of the same shit but rearranged during development. The clitoris grows to become the head of the penis. The labia fuse together to form the scrotum. The nuts are sorta like ovaries on the outside. Seriously, if you have a long-term, opposite-sex partner or a really open friendship who's down for this, take out your scrot lips and touch it to the scrot lips. They feel exactly the same. I believe this is also why men have nipples. Because a fetus starts developing the female plan, then either switches to male or doesn't. I'm sure there are more similarities that I'm not aware of. I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Only 1/3 of a woman's vagina is sensitive to touch, while the other 2/3 of the vagina is pressure sensitive. Female pigs orgasm for up to 30 minutes. Your wife is a lucky lady. I don't know, she did end up marrying the whole hog just for a little sausage. Most mammals, regardless of size, take approximately the same amount of time, on average, to empty the bladders, about 20 seconds. You should wash sperm and other proteins, eggs for instance, with cold water at first because hot water will basically cook it. Men aren't the only ones that get longer when they're aroused. The female's vaginal canal lengthens when she grows aroused, letting her accommodate something big. So if you have a little dick, the trick is to make her as unaroused as possible. Sweet, I'm already a few steps ahead. Standing on a swivel chair while putting up a sign or light bulb is one of most common workplace accidents. Some animals have a real bone in their penis. It's called a baculum. Testicles have an idle animation. Why did everything turn into animal ejaculation facts? It's the tightness of the pallet wrap that holds a loaded pallet together, not the amount you use. So you can attach a coworker to one with only 2 wraps around their midsection. There's a little marsupial in Oceania that, once it turns a year old, starts mating with females for a week or so. The mating can last up to 12 hours per female. The male will only stop having sex when it starts dying from internal bleeding. It's basically death by SNU. Electrical stimulation of a particular nerve group in the lower back can induce ejaculation. The effect is involuntary, and works in people with paralysis and even sufficiently fresh cadavers. Exactly how many corpses had to be tasered to find that out? There is roughly 37.5 megabits of data in a single sperm, which means that the average male ejaculates 1,500 terabytes of data. That's a lot of info to swallow. Your testicles develop inside your body when you're a fetus, then a wall of muscle between your abdomen and your scrotum opens up to let them drop through before closing again. If it doesn't close properly, you can give birth to a baby with a horrendously distended scrotum filled with their entire intestines. FML, the mental imagery was too strong with this one. The average blue whale penis is 6 feet. Human males have the largest penises compared to all of the other living primates. The biggest gorilla penis, for example, is on average 3 inches. Well, guess who isn't insecure anymore? In parts of Arizona and New Mexico there is a type of lizard called the whiptail lizard. They have evolved to where they don't need males anymore. They can lay their own eggs, but get this, they have to be stimulated by another female to get the eggs produced. You know what they say, sun's out, tongue's out. The human anus max diameter is a comfortable 3 inches roughly, but we all know it can go further than that. It can fit 2 raccoons. I learned today. I may get this wrong, but I believe I heard that around 40% of all ducklings were conceived via rape. Men tend to get boners early in the morning, so as the sun rotates the earth there is a synchronized wave of morning boners circling the earth at all times. Exhibitionism is when you enjoy showing yourself. Voyeurism is when you enjoy watching others. They're not interchangeable. Reverse cowgirl is the #1 way to cause penile fractures. Also, penile fractures are a thing regardless of size. If a pregnant person passes away and is not discovered in time before putrefaction, the fetus can be expelled because of the pressure of the gases built up in the mother's body. This is called coffin birth. The longer an employee is out of work as a result of an illness or injury, the less likely they are to return to work. Studies suggest that when an employee is out of work for more than 6 months, they have less than a 50% chance of ever returning to work in any capacity. Female kangaroos have 3 vaginas while males have 2 penises. Not sure how that works. A man named Horst Schultz holds the world record of farthest cumshot at 18 feet 9 inches and also holds the record for highest at 12 feet 4 inches. Those are bold words for somebody in cumshot distance. Your anus can stretch far enough a raccoon can fit inside. The human anus can expand to upwards of 8 inches. A raccoon can fit through a hole 4 inches in diameter. Not only can you fit a raccoon, you can get 2. There are 2 types of penis implants when people suffer of erectile dysfunction. One is a permanent stiff implant, and when you don't want to use it, just save it moving it down. The other is an inflatable option, so when the patient wants to use it he has to inflate it by pressing an air pump that is placed in the scrotum. So it seems that you press your balls to inflate your dick. Male giraffes will headbutt a female in the bladder until she urinates. Then it tastes the pee to help it determine whether or not the female is ovulating. So like humans. The inside of the male urethra is rifled, like a gun barrel, which allows the pee to come out straight instead of in a spray. After locking and tagging out a machine, you should always try to start it again, otherwise you could inadvertently start the machine while inside of it and be crushed to death. After a lot of questions, here's a more detailed explanation. My reply to this thread was a joke on NSFW, since not performing lockout-tagout is actually not safe for working. Horses can bust a nut on command. Also, male dolphins are gang rapists. And otters are interspecies pedophile necrophiliacs. When you're sexually aroused, the parts of your brain that regulate feelings of visceral disgust work at minimal capacity, meaning that you're not as easily grossed out.